What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome live to Homestead as we get set for this morning's girls basketball showdown between the Homestead Spartans and the Concordia Cadets. I'm Brayden Carroll, joined alongside Anthony Gery as we're about 5 minutes away from tip-off of today's matchup. And let's begin with the OPS pregame report. First, before we get into today's matchup, Anthony, we have to talk about the boys' game at Marion, and more specifically, the historic performance of Fletcher Lawyer, who shattered Tim Dunn's school record for points in a game of 44. Lawyer became Homestead's first member of the 50-point club with exactly 50 in the huge 92-77 victory against the Marion Giants. What a spectacular four quarters for Purdue commit Fletcher Lawyer.
And Fletcher Lawyer, he's been performing like this all season. He's clearly been Homestead's best player throughout the season, just showing up to every game, now averaging over 20 points a game. He's just proved that he's the MVP of the team, the point guard. He's shooting 100% from the free throw line, clearly having a huge impact in just his first year at Homestead.
Certainly a fantastic game from Fletcher Lawyer, the Clarkston High School transfer from Michigan. And speaking of 50, today Coach Rod Parker turned 50, the coach of the Homestead Spartans, who's gone 344, 123 win-loss in his 20th year at Homestead, turning 50 today. So a quick happy birthday to Coach Parker.
And this morning, Allison Stevens brought in 50 balloons with the numbers 5 and 0 for Coach Parker. And Fletcher Lawyer, ironically, who got 50 points last night, thought the balloons were for him. So that was a little bit of a fun moment for both of them.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscommunication before the game. Hopefully Fletcher Lawyer didn't take that too personal, that those balloons weren't for him. And Anthony, Homestead is on a roll in recent weeks. 4 wins in a row with big performances from Ayanna Patterson, Allison Stevens, and Molly Stock. 3 of those 4 wins have been by double digits, with only Goshen keeping things close during that 50-46 victory last Tuesday. The slow start seems to be well behind the Spartans.
Yeah, Homestead getting off to a rough start. Obviously, that first game against Carroll was not very good, and then being handed their first SAC loss in 5 years to Carroll. But ever since then, they have seemed to get back on their feet, despite that slight victory over Goshen, where the Goshen Redhawks coming back from being down by 10. Just Homestead, they've seemed to get back on their feet behind Ayanna Patterson and Allison Stevens.
And recently, Allison Stevens has shined for the Spartans with 17 points in Homestead's most recent game versus Goshen, and a streak of 4 straight double-digit scoring performances in which all 4 of those games were victories. Her contributions have certainly been important to the Spartans' recent success.
And Allison Stevens is definitely the biggest key to Homestead revamping since the beginning of the season. She got off to a really slow start at this season. Her three-point shooting from last season seemed to have been missing, but she has found her stride in the last 4 games, which has just been a huge help for the Lady Spartans.
And the schedule does not get any easier for the Spartans, as still ahead in the OPS pregame report. To be talking about the upcoming schedule, we'll be looking at the next few games for Homestead, including Saturday's big matchup against the number 2 North Central Panthers, and they'll look at the visiting Cadets. The OPS pregame report continues after these messages.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to the OPS pregame report. I'm Brayden Carroll, joined alongside Anthony Gery. And Anthony, with this morning's matchup being the last game of 2020 for Homestead, you've got to be thinking that Coach Parker is looking ahead to the challenges January will be bringing. The Spartans start 2021 off with the number 2 team in 4A North Central this Saturday, Southside, who's undefeated in the SAC, next week, and defending state champs Lawrence North after that. All of that's in the span of 1 week. Things certainly aren't getting any easier for Homestead.
And Homestead, even with the huge game today, they're going to have to get focused. They're going to have to keep their eye on the prize. If they're able to knock off all 3 teams, even 4 if you conclude Concordia, that will just be a huge statement and definitely be able to find their way back into the top 5.
And Anthony, looking at Concordia, they have turned things around big time since last season when they finished 5-1 in the conference at 5th place. Now they're undefeated in the SAC, standing at 1st and off to a 7-3 start. Coach David Miller has to be pleased with his team's performance thus far and the potential they have.
Yeah, Concordia, especially backed by Chastise Gray, has just been shining, coming up with something that I don't think anybody expected, especially after that 5-4 finish last season. Just showing up, and now they're number 7 in the 3A division.
We're about to get set for tip-off. Homestead versus Concordia is up next.
Here at Homestead High School Media, we're taking steps to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. That includes limiting the number of workers in the TV studio and wearing masks when not on camera. We also socially distance our anchors each week at the news desk. In the studios, we limit the number of people allowed in at a time, and even our mics wear masks. Thank you for doing your part in helping fight COVID-19. And welcome back to the pregame show, and we're just mere minutes before the start of this morning's SAC matchup. I'm Brayden Carroll, joined alongside Anthony Gery, and real quick, let's get into the standings in the SAC. Southside, they're on top, undefeated in conference play at 4-0, with Carroll and Concordia 2 games short at 2-0. All those teams undefeated, though. Homestead, meanwhile, looking to keep moving up, currently in 3rd in the SAC.
Southside, you talked about them being at number 1 at 4-0. They've had a spectacular season so far. It feels like ever since their close overtime sectional game, they've had a chip on their shoulder. They have been in demand of wanting to win the SAC this season. So again, that big game coming up against Homestead will be a huge showdown, huge rematch of the 2 teams.
And those top 4 teams in the SAC, Southside, Carroll, Concordia, and Homestead, all are ranked in their individual classes. The Southside, Carroll, and Homestead ranked in 4A, and Concordia ranked number 7 in 3A. SAC is certainly going to be very competitive this season. And it's going to be an interesting game tonight, as Concordia is coming into this one the slight underdog, but still they're past Homestead in the SAC standings and looking for a big win to get closer to Southside.
Yeah, Homestead, they're trying, ever since their loss to Carroll, they're trying to get back into this game. Still only 1 loss on the season. If they can beat Concordia, they'll move ahead of them in the rankings. Then if they can beat Southside, they'll move ahead of them in the rankings.
Comes tip-off of tonight's game. The officials, James Payne, Mike Johnson, and Alex Childers. And Homestead wins the tip-off, and they'll start things off here in this section matchup. Stevens going to start off quickly from beyond, and just like that, Homestead on the board in less than 20 seconds. Allison Stevens, big-time three-point shooter on this squad. A quick 3 right there to start it off. Corey on the other end, and call a foul on the shot. And taking a look at your FWO keys to the game. For Homestead, Anthony, the Spartans need to create space down low and have to shut down Concordia from beyond the arc.
I think, yes, Homestead has to shut down Concordia beyond the arc, but again, I think the most important thing for Homestead is getting past Chastise Craig on defense. Chastise Craig definitely with the matchup against Ayana Patterson. That is going to be a matchup we're going to have to watch all game. The 6'2 center for Concordia and the 6'3 center for Homestead.
And for Concordia, their keys to the game, they have to minimize turnovers on offense and have to disrupt Homestead's rhythm on defense.
Yeah, Homestead's defense was able to do the job last week against Goshen. Definitely their strong suit, while the offense was struggling. So Concordia, if they're able to get past that Homestead defense, they will have a real good shot at winning this game.
Both free throws landed for Headkey for the Concordia Cadets. And they'll get the ball back after that possession doesn't turn into points for the Spartans. In Homestead's last game, things were kept relatively close for the entire game as Goshen walked away with the loss, but only a 4-point loss. It was 50-46. Concordia certainly looking to not only keep things close in today's game, but also to win. Set on the other end. Stock's wide open. Drives inside instead. Molly Stock is a dangerous three-point shooter, and Stevens also a dangerous shooter as she gets her second field goal to land.
We talked about how important Allison Stevens has been to the Spartans offense, already with 5 points on the board, just 5 more to get double digits once again.
There's the first turnover of the game for Concordia. Travel, give Homestead the ball right back. And Homestead's a team that struggles with turnovers, averaging 15.6 a game as of the Bishop Lures game. And they had a lot of turnovers against Goshen as well, almost costed them a victory. And Patterson down low as Homestead up 5 now early in this one. And already only a few minutes through this game, and Homestead already creating some separation. Concordia on the other end passing things around. They've got to find open shots. Concordia, a dangerous team from beyond the arc at 36%. That seems to be what they're working right now, trying to find an open shot. And there's the open 3, not gonna fall though. That's what they were doing, just waiting for that open 3, an opportunity to get some points. Doesn't fall though for the Cadets. But they'll hit those more often than not. They're one of the most dangerous teams from beyond the arc in the SAC. Patterson down low again. And just like that, Homestead's up 9-2. Building an early lead in this one. That's Patterson's 4th point of the game.
We talked about the Homestead defense being really good. They're playing lockdown, man-to-man defense. Ayanna Patterson shutting down Chastise Craig, not letting any ball get to her, not even letting her get open.
There's a deep three by Concordia, doesn't fall. That was taken by London Betts. 0 of 2 early in this one from beyond the arc for Concordia. That's a jump ball called, and Patterson really works the paint incredibly as she averages 21.6 points per game and 11.2 rebounds per game, and right there showed her athleticism down low. Concordia in need of some points on the offensive end. That layup down low won't fall. Homestead has it now. Concordia averages 59.9 points a game, 7 more than Homestead, but early in this one, they've only put 2 on the board.
Yeah, it's mostly because of that Homestead defense. Concordia is trying to get three-point shots off their strong suit, but they're just unable to. Again, man defense being locked down.
As Patterson down low again. She draws the foul, she'll go to the line. Takes some free throws here. She shoots 60% from the free throw line. And looking for 2 here. The first one doesn't fall. Homestead, a team that struggles at the free throw line, shooting 62%. Concordia, they also are not the most efficient at the stripe with 59% of their shots falling, and that second one falls. Homestead at double digits with 10 points now. And early in this one, the offense is really clicking for Homestead. There's a deep three by Nelson, and it falls. That's the first three-pointer to fall for the Cadets. They finally put up some points in this one. And on the other end, Molly Stock and 1. And Homestead really starting to create some separation on the Cadets early in this game. Molly Stock averages 7.3 points a game. Is a 75% free throw shooter, and that and 1 conversion doesn't go for the Spartans. Still up 7 though. Just under 4 minutes left. Patterson with the block down low, rebounded by Nelson. Concordia maintains possession, but heads out of bounds. It'll be Homestead ball. Great defensive play right there by Patterson.
And Concordia's explosive offense being held to only 5 points so far, while Homestead has just been able to get the ball going on offense and make their free throws.
Pass down low to Patterson, ends up out of bounds. Homestead really trying to give Patterson the ball as many times as they can. She's the leading scorer and rebounder on this team. And inside the paint, she is almost unstoppable. Passing things around here. They're a team that really likes to pass around and wait for the open shot, as seen on this possession. Harrison drives inside, and they'll call a foul on the Cadets. Will be on the floor, though, as an inbound coming up for the Spartans. Sullivan scanning the court, finds Stevens. Not clean pass, stolen by Nelson. And it will be Concordia ball as they try to narrow Homestead's 7-point margin.
That was another turnover for Homestead, a very turnover vulnerable team, as said earlier. Averaging just over 15 turnovers a game.
Nelson down low. I guess the shots will fall. Concordia only down 5 now against the Spartans. That's Nelson's, as she's up to 5 points tonight. this morning. And almost another steal for Concordia, and they'll call it jump ball, as Homestead will maintain possession, but almost another sloppy pass that turned into a turnover for the Spartans.
There's one thing I want to talk about so far is Annika Nelson. Ever since the first couple minutes of the game, she has locked down Allison Stevens, not letting her get even a ball from a pass.
Another jump ball, and Concordia will get it this time around. And Nelson, she is one of the best players on this Concordia squad, 16.2 points a game, 51% shooter on the field, and 39% from beyond. She had a tough game on their last outing against Northridge, though. Shot 0 of 8, and that turned out to be a loss for Concordia, only their third of the season. Seems like when she's having a good game, the rest of the team is, and when she's not, Concordia has trouble responding.
She's also averaging 3.2 steals per game, which shows that she's just the key on defense for Concordia.
There's another turnover. That's Nelson again. She's already up to a couple steals in this one. There's another three for Concordia, not going to fall. Homestead running the fast break on the other end. That pass almost went into the stands. Patterson able to corral it. Drives inside, and Patterson gets some points for the Spartans. Their lead is up to 7 once again. Patterson having a great game so far, 7 points for Homestead. They'll call foul on the shot, as Concordia will get the chance for 2 at the line.
One of Concordia's best three-point shooters, London Betts, is 0 for 3 from the three-point line today, despite being 48% from beyond the arc this season.
She is one of the best three-point shooters in the SAC. Early in this one, though, struggling a little bit from beyond. As that free throw falls for Concordia. In the last game Homestead played against Goshen, it seemed like the free throws, they could not get them to fall, and it really costed the Redhawks as Homestead won that one 50-46. Concordia looking to not make the same mistakes against Homestead. And that's 2 of 2 for Concordia. Hedke makes both her free throws. She's up to 4 points. Under a minute left, and another turnover for the Spartans. Fast break on the other end. Going to turn to a foul, and Kashkinski will be going to the line once more for the Cadets. Homestead up to a couple turnovers in this one.
Koskinski, another big player on defense, 2.7 steals per game, and gets another one right there, first one on the night.
Here's Concordia right back at the line for a chance at 2. And that first one does not fall. And Concordia has been putting together a solid stretch outside of their loss to Northridge last week. Before that, they were coming off 2 in a row. Big wins against Wayne and DeKalb. They defeated Wayne 84-38 and DeKalb 60-23. Both of those huge victories, but then Northridge really gave them some troubles, and they weren't able to walk away with the victory there. So they're looking to get back to the winning side. Nelson for 3, swish. Nelson, her second three-pointer of the game. And she's making her shots when Concordia needs her to. It's a one-possession lead for the Spartans. With about 10 seconds left, I'd expect Homestead to hold on this possession as they almost lose possession there. A few seconds left. They're going to have to take a shot. Kinsley down low. Swish at the buzzer. Maggie Kinsley
gets it to fall. And at the end of the first, Homestead up 16-12. We have a close one here.
Homestead, such a threat.
Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to Spartan Arena for some early morning action. Homestead up 16-12. It's a close one. Concordia is really sticking with the Spartans, and this is second straight game where at the end of the first, things are getting pretty close.
And as I was saying before going to break, Homestead, right on that last play, showed what they're most strong at, just passing the ball around until a shot gets to be available, and right there, just pass right to Megan Hellenkamp, right underneath the hoop to put in an easy 2 right before the quarter ends.
Those were some much-needed points for momentum for the Spartans. And it's now a 2-possession lead. But Concordia, they're really making their shots. They were struggling early in the game. Couldn't get a single 3-pointer to land, but in the last half of that first quarter, they've been able to find their shot from beyond. Now, it's one of the best teams in shooting percentage in the SAC. You know that will continue through the rest of the game. Homestead going to start off with the ball in this second quarter. Passing around right now as Stock has it. Evie Bottoms open, going to take a 3. Doesn't fall, rebounded by Homestead as Bottoms has it again. Homestead, a great rebounding team. They average 36.4 rebounds a game. That's compared to Concordia, who has just under 28 per game. Homestead really knows how to control the boards.
And those rebounds all mainly because of 6'3" Ayana Patterson, just someone that you cannot get past underneath. When she gets up for a rebound, she's going to get it.
Concordia has it now after the Homestead possession came up empty. Concordia probably looking to work the perimeter like they did in the final minutes of that first quarter. And there's Nelson from beyond and doesn't fall. Rebounded by Evie Bottoms as Homestead will retain possession. Nelson coming off of a tough outing against Northridge where she shot 0 of 8. She's looking to certainly have a bounce back in this one. There's a sloppy pass that will go out of bounds, and Concordia get a chance to cut into this lead. Concordia has not had the lead yet in this one. This possession doesn't really dictate anything but to the lead, but they could cut into it and make it one possession with a 3 here. Rolls around and out. Homestead has it now, a fast break. Patterson inside. Deanna Patterson up to 9 points now. Half of Homestead. It's 18 so far.
And ever since the first 2 minutes of the game, Allison Stevens has been silent, not able to get anything going, not able to get past Annika Nelson.
They'll call a travel, and it'll be Homestead ball. And Coach Miller does not like that call. He's looking for a reach-in, but I don't think that they can change the call, as Homestead will have possession now after another Concordia turnover.
Another thing to notice about Homestead right now is that Emma Roos, who does not have any points on the season so far, is in the game for the Spartans.
Sullivan down low gets the layup to fall. Homestead up to 20 points now. Emma Roost originally was on JV, but in recent games has made some appearances on the varsity squad. That three-pointer over the backboard. And so far in this second quarter, it's been a struggle for Concordia from beyond, but Homestead, meanwhile, really working incredibly well on the offensive end. A loose ball, and Homestead maintains possession, almost another turnover for the Spartans. Stevens for three, off the back of the iron and no good. And both teams struggling to make their shots, and they'll call a foul on Stevens. A push. That'll be Homestead's fourth foul of the half. Concordia down 20-12, looking for some points on this end. A shot off the side of the backboard, no good. Stevens is going to turn this one into a fast break. And she'll slow things down instead. They'll call a foul on Concordia. Both teams playing a relatively clean game when it comes to fouls, both at 4 each, with no players in any real foul trouble. Royst with it. And Homestead, they're looking for a shot here to make it a double-digit lead and really create some separation early in this one. And Nelson almost picked the pocket of Allison Stevens, but will go out of bounds as Homestead will retain possession. Concordia playing aggressively on the defensive end. Homestead not able to put up many points in this second quarter, but still holds the 8-point lead. Patterson takes a three from beyond the arc, no good. Patterson doesn't take a three-pointer that often, as that one does not fall. Concordia will get the chance to reduce Homestead's lead with a layup here, down low. No fall. Shantice Craig averages 16 points a game, gets her first of the game for Concordia.
Homestead's defense starting to slack off a little bit. Shantice Craig got open for the first time.
Concordia has it now. And Coach Miller's going to call a timeout for Concordia, try and gather the team together with under 4 minutes left in the half. Homestead up 20-14.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome back to Spartan Arena with under 4 minutes left at the half. Homestead up by 6, 20-14. Concordia still in this one. It's been a low-scoring affair thus far, but Homestead has been able to maintain the lead throughout this entire game and keep Concordia at bay.
Concordia went on a bit of a run towards the end of the first quarter. Homestead was able to keep them off and now increase their lead back up to 6 points.
And out of the timeout, Concordia will start off with the ball and the chance to make it a one-possession game. Like I said, Concordia throughout this entire half has yet to hold a lead. And ever since Homestead's first points, they haven't gotten Homestead's lead down to under 3 points yet.
And down low, Shantice Craig with her second field goal of the game cuts into the Spartan lead.
And Shantice Craig looks like she's able to get things going, which is bad news for the Spartans.
Patterson's mid-range jumper does not fall. As Concordia will get the opportunity to really cut into Homestead's lead.
And we're seeing a bit of a momentum shift as Concordia's power forward is able to get things going, while Homestead's power forward has missed her last 3 shots.
Concordia, all 5 players around the arc. They seem to be looking for a 3-pointer here as Nelson takes one and off the iron, no good. Rebounded by Kinsley. It's Homestead running down the court now. Stevens down low, gets the layup to fall. A quick possession for the Spartans, ends in 2. Stevens up to 7 points in this one. She's second in points for the Spartans behind Patterson, who has 9. As they own 16 of Homestead's 22 points thus far. Along with that, all of Homestead's points have come from the starting lineup. Other than 2. 20 of Homestead's 22 points in this first half have come from Kinsley, Stock, Sullivan, Stevens, and Patterson.
Now Hillary Adams comes in the game for Maggie Kinsley.
Concordia down low. That's Kashkinski who gets the close shot to fall. Concordia cuts into the Homestead lead, down 4 now, with 2:30 left in the second quarter. Homestead passing around the perimeter. They're looking for a shot. They have been shut down from beyond the arc in this second quarter. Patterson, a dribble move on Craig. She drives inside. They'll call a foul on Shantice Craig.
Shantice Craig with her first foul of the game. Concordia may be starting to get into a little bit of foul trouble. They don't want their players to start fouling out.
And coming up on the OPS halftime report, we'll get a look at stats from the first half as well as the Star Spartans after 2 quarters of play. We'll take a look at the latest headlines in the SAC as well as preview Saturday's big matchup against the North Central Panthers. It's all coming up on the halftime report presented by OPS. Concordia now with it, down 5. So we're under 2 minutes left in the second quarter, and that pass goes out of bounds. Homestead with it now. Since Stevens drives inside, takes a shot, and they'll call foul. And Stevens will go to the line for 2 here.
Coach Miller from Concordia wanted to travel on Allison Stevens there. Refs don't call it.
That's Concordia's 6th foul of the game, 1 more, and they're in the bonus. There is only 1:37 left in the second quarter, though, so not too much of a problem for the Cadets if Homestead enters the bonus. Free throw does not fall. She gets 1 of 2 there on her trip to the line. Nelson takes another 3 from way beyond the arc, gets it to fall. And Concordia only down by 3 with just above a minute left in the half.
Annika Nelson already with 2 steals and 8 points on the game, carrying Concordia to a victory right now.
Concordia is going to get the opportunity to tie the game here with under a minute left in the second quarter. And Shantice Craig drives inside. The shot does not fall. No call. The scuffle for the rebound off of Craig. As Homestead will have it. I assume Homestead wants to go into the half with the lead. They might just hold it for the rest of these 40 seconds. And Stock's going to drive inside and take a shot instead. It will roll in as Homestead up 2 possessions now with under 30 seconds left. Concordia working the inside. That's Betts who takes a shot over Stock and it gets it to fall. 5 seconds left. Homestead a chance for a buzzer beater. Stock again. Swish, another buzzer beater at the end of the quarter for the Spartans, and that one will be heading into the locker room. And at halftime, Homestead with a 5-point lead, 28-23. We have an exciting one in SAC play.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Welcome to the OPS halftime report as we get a fresh look at stats from the first half of this game. Homestead up 28-3. And Homestead has been shooting fantastically from the field thus far with 71% of their shots following. Meanwhile, Concordia, just above half of them, are getting to fall, and they've been taking a lot of three-pointers as well, shooting 4 of 10, 40%. Not bad from Concordia, but they need to be more efficient.
Homestead's season average from the field is 38%. This game already 71%. It's just spectacular numbers from Homestead so far. And Concordia going about their season average just over it. Their season average at 46% from the field. This game 53% from the field so far.
Meanwhile, Homestead, a team that averages 36 rebounds a game, only has 6 through one half so far. Concordia also rebounding at a pretty low rate. They average just under 28 rebounds a game, but only up to 3 so far. And Allison Stevens and Ayana Patterson are your star Spartans from the first half, with 10 points for Allison Stevens, shooting 75%, and Patterson with 10 points, not 3 points, and 57% from the field. Both are having a great offensive game.
Allison Stevens making the only 3 for the Spartans thus far this game. Just playing spectacular basketball. Has been shut out, though, for most of the game by Annika Nelson, but in the time she's able to get open, get a shot, she makes them.
Correction, Allison Stevens has 8 points. Patterson has 10. They are still the leading scorers for the Spartans thus far, with 18 of Homestead's 28 points between those two. They have certainly been making a huge impact for Homestead and are the main reason that they hold a 5-point lead over the Cadets. And Anthony, what'd you see in that first half? I know we saw a lot of pretty much defensive play between both teams, as it's a low-scoring game so far.
There's a lot of dribbling and a lot of passing around by both teams trying to get an open shot. These defenses are showing up, playing tight man-to-man coverage. I think for Concordia, their biggest key to the game is keep getting the ball Annika Nelson when you need to. She's shooting spectacular. She's playing spectacular on defense, just having a great game so far. And for Homestead, I think that Homestead, they got to give it to Molly Stock. She's been kind of a dark horse this game, you saw, but in those last couple of minutes, she showed up. She has insanely good speed. She's able to get open fast and mostly just passes the ball around. But if you can get her the ball to take a shot, she is going to make it.
Yeah, certainly Homestead has been hitting a lot of their shots thus far. It's a huge reason that they hold the lead right now. And so far in this one, Concordia, their players that have really stood out have been Nelson and Shantice Craig, who are really helping the Cadets to keep this one close.
Shantice Craig didn't show up till the second quarter, but because of Ayanna Patterson's tight man-to-man defense. However, when she showed up, she came out big, and she was able to post up against Ayanna Patterson and just sort of like put Homestead like in a state of despair, like what are we going to do now that she's able to make her shots?
And thus far, there haven't really been any big plays between the two teams. It's been a very methodical pace for both teams offensively, not really any huge momentum shifting plays, just a lot of passing and a lot of shots taken, with Homestead hitting the majority of them and Concordia struggling to keep up with the Spartans' pace.
And I think it's certainly important to point out that Homestead, right before the end of the first and second quarter, hit a buzzer beater. First quarter by Maggie Kinsley, second quarter by Molly Stock. Those have lasting impacts. It's just on the defense. Because when Concordia, if they are unable to stop those, it's like, oh no, we just gave up 2 points in 2 seconds right before the game ended. What do we do now? Now we find ourselves at a greater deficit. If those shots don't go in, this game is 24-23.
And we're going to go to a quick break, but stay tuned for the rest of the halftime show. Once again, your halftime score, Homestead up 28-23. We'll be right back.
Rethink your limits. What
Welcome back to the halftime show here at Spartan Arena, and you'll notice that there are fans for the first time this season at Spartan Arena, and Homestead really shattering some records today. They have more fans in the stands than any team in the Pac-12 did all season long. That's the gigantic feat for the Spartans.
Yeah, aside from that, I think the fans might actually play a large impact. The players being able to have their parents in the stands for the first time this season, definitely a momentum booster. Might be why the offense is just empowered in the first half.
Yeah, it seems like Homestead and Concordia have a much larger fan base than USC or Stanford. I mean, Stanford, they usually don't fill the stands at all, even when there isn't COVID-19.
Can count Oregon State into that list as well.
Really any Pac-12 team, and so far it's been a pretty close game. Concordia they've been behind all game long, but they're keeping things close. It's a 5-point lead for the Spartans right now, but Concordia, they really have built some momentum so far in this one.
Homestead in the first half was using their bench quite a lot, but they weren't able to get their bench players going. You saw Evie Bottoms, Emma Roost, Hillary Adams all coming in off the bench, but unable to get anything going, not doing much besides just passing the ball around for Homestead.
And Homestead, that's mainly what they've been doing on the offensive end, just passing around and looking for an open shot. And thus far, it's been working as they're hitting 71% of their shots. Highly efficient on the offensive side for the Spartans. Certainly their game plan is to just keep doing what they're doing on offense and on defense as they're holding Concordia to 23 points.
And if you look at Concordia right now, or just a minute ago, they were practicing their free throw shooting. Definitely going to be a key factor in the final seconds of the second half.
And we're going to go to a break, but stay tuned for the second half of this one coming up after this. Welcome back to Spartan Arena. Homestead up 28-23 as we get set for the second half of this early morning section matchup. And Anthony, what are your keys to the second half for both squads?
I think the key for Homestead in the second half is to continue to do what they're doing on offense, continue to make the shots, continue to tire out Concordia. And I think the keys for Concordia is to just continue their man-to-man defense, maybe tighten it up a little bit more to shut down Homestead's offense.
Speaking of Homestead's offense, here they are working the first possession of the second half. They'll call that a jump ball, a great defensive play by Shantice Craig down low, and it'll turn into Concordia ball. Homestead certainly playing a pretty clean game thus far, but Concordia's defense very aggressive, and they've been forcing a lot of those jump balls and turnovers. And speaking of turnovers, there's a travel on the Cadets down low. Homestead now has it on the other end. They call a foul underneath the basket.
And if there's one thing that Grace Sullivan, she shines at, it is drawing fouls. She has drawn so many this season so far, and there's another one right there.
Grace Sullivan has also improved on a lot of aspects in her game this season. In 2019-2020, she shot 3.7 points per game with 4.7 assists per game. This season, she's up to 6.1 assists per game, leading the team in assists and 3.7 points a game. Certainly a lot of improvement coming from Grace Sullivan, the Ferris State commit.
Allison Stevens now for the 5th game in a row getting double-digit points.
Allison Stevens, she is on a fantastic stretch thus far as she hit that shot on Homestead's last possession. And she has been on a roll in recent games. Here's Concordia looking for some much-needed points to start off the second half. As Nelson drives inside, Patterson almost blocked it. And Nelson got the rebound and drew the foul as she'll go to the line. They attempted 2 free throws. That
foul going to go on Molly Stock. Her second of the game.
That's 2 of Homestead's starters who are up to 2 fouls, so no one really in foul trouble, but Molly Stock and Grace Sullivan getting somewhat close to it. And Concordia, they've been shooting great from the free throw stripe thus far, and Concordia rebounds the miss at the free throw line there as they maintain possession. Concordia did not get many rebounds in that first half, so it's going to be very important for them to improve on the boards, and rebounds like that off the miss on the free throw, certainly very important for the Cadets to capitalize on those situations. There's a three-pointer by Hetke, does not fall. It appeared to be tipped in the air. They'll call a break in the game as Shantice Craig tripped on the other end, and they'll also call a foul on Jaskinski. That's her third foul as she's starting to enter a little bit of foul trouble here. The only player in this game thus far with over 2 fouls.
And Concordia does not want Jaskinski to foul out. She's a huge part on the defense.
Blocked by Shantice Craig. Patterson tried to get a shot down low, but Concordia has been playing very aggressive defense thus far, able to stop Homestead in their tracks. And they will have possession now. That's certainly going to be an important aspect of the game for Concordia to really maintain their hold on the defensive end, as they've been really controlling the Spartans thus far.
Surprisingly, a travel not called there on Shantice Craig as Concordia turns the ball over.
Fast break coming up for Homestead. Kinsley fouled by Nelson, or actually they'll call it on Hetke. Kinsley will be going to the line for 2. And Kinsley, we talked about how Grace Sullivan improved from last season. Maggie Kinsley also improved, as she had 1.6 points per game last season, and thus far she's had 6.2 points a game, along with 5.2 rebounds.
It seems like Maggie Kinsley's filling in the role for Riley Parker last year, filling in that spot.
Yeah, 2 seniors that were in the starting lineup, Sydney Graber and Riley Parker. Their spots had to be filled. They were filled by Molly Stock and Maggie Kinsley. Both have been really stepping up to that challenge thus far. Concordia down 8, looking for some points. Down low, and they'll call a foul on Patterson.
Shantice Craig losing a shoe on that last play. It's like Ayanna Patterson stepped on the back of her shoe, knocking it off.
It's Patterson's first foul of the game. It's Concordia, who's been highly efficient thus far from the free throw stripe, shooting over 80% in this game, will head back with a chance at 2 points. That first one off the back of the iron and no good. Concordia, they really need to capitalize from the free throw line. Down 8, they need every point that they can get. The second one swishes. 1 of 2 for Shantice Craig as she's up to 5 points for the Cadets. Molly Stock on the other end in the corner for 3. Does not fall, rebounded by Patterson. Misses, gets her own putback. Gets her own putback again. What an offensive possession by Ayanna Patterson, as she is able to get some points for the Spartans.
3 rebounds just like that for Ayanna Patterson.
And she is crucial to Homestead's game as she grabs a lot of those offensive rebounds. And right there, she had 2 back-to-back results in 2. And Patterson shooting 5 of 8 thus far, above 50% on the season. She shoots exactly 50%, so she's having a great outing thus far with 12 points. Down low, Shantice Craig gets it to fall over Patterson. She's up to 7 points, and Concordia's up to 27. Allison Stevens from the free throw stripe gets the jumper to fall, and the lead is back up to 9 for the Spartans. Allison Stevens tied with Patterson for points in this one, as both are at 12. Been very crucial to Homestead's success, not only in today's game, but in recent games thus far. That's Shantice Craig again getting some points on the offensive side for the Cadets. They narrow their lead down to, or narrow Homestead's lead down to 7.
Homestead this entire game has been just trying to fend off Concordia from coming back.
Call foul inside on the floor.
Concordia is not letting Homestead run away with this game. Low scoring one so far.
Comes the inbound underneath the basket for Grace Sullivan. Allison Stevens with it, takes a shot, and she appeared to turn that into a pass as she was double teamed, but it'll turn into a turnover instead. The other end blocked by Patterson, a great defensive play. Patterson really controlling the paint on both sides.
Homestead has a major height advantage with two pretty tall players with Ayanna Patterson and Allison Stevens.
Nelson for 3 didn't get the lucky bounce and go out of bounds. Homestead will have it with under 3 minutes left in the third.
And Ayanna Patterson's height and athleticism has led her to becoming a 5-star recruit and having a 98 grade in the recruiting class of 2021.
Ayanna Patterson, certainly one of the more promising recruits in the nation from the class of 2022. She has 20 career doubles. Actually, she's up to 21 after that win against Goshen, and there's a shot inside with the foul by Ayanna Patterson. She's up to 14.
She is controlling this game so far, bending everything to her will. So many rebounds on the game so far, and just as her season average being 21.8. Showing up now with 15 points on this game.
She gets the and one free throw to fall, and Homestead's lead is up to double digits now. Starting to create some separation. And a sloppy pass, they'll call that off of Patterson. And Concordia will get the inbound here underneath the basket. Shantice Craig comes back into the game for Concordia.
And I believe this is Homestead's first double-digit lead of the game. Now 39-29 is another block by Patterson.
Patterson really shutting down Concordia down low, not allowing them to get an easy bucket. And that shot just short, appeared to be tipped by Allison Stevens, and that'll be Homestead ball after the foul by Chastity Craig. That's her third personal of the game, as both her and Kishkinski are starting to enter foul trouble for Concordia. So dribbling around, and they'll call a travel on Allison Stevens as she was trying to work the inside on Nelson. And it'll be Concordia ball. Homestead, they've struggled thus far with keeping things clean. They've had a lot of travels.
It's just part of the many turnovers they've had in this game so far. Still less than their season average, but it's just not something you want to do in a big game like this.
Concordia looking for some points here. They've only put up 6 in this third quarter. This Homestead has really been playing lockdown defense in the second half. I mean, out of the locker room, Concordia just hasn't been able to get their shots to fall as consistently as they did in the first half. And inside, Shantice Craig takes a shot, and Patterson blocks it. And the fight for the rebound will stay with Concordia. And Patterson, she's up to 3 blocks in the second half alone. She's having a great game defensively, and overall she's up to 15 points, the leading scorer thus far for Homestead. Down low, blocked by Stevens, another block for the Spartans. And here comes a fast break for Homestead. Stevens for 3, off the front of the iron, no good. But rebounded by Homestead. Sullivan saves it from going out of bounds. And they'll call it, and it'll be a turnover off the scuffle for the ball.
Miscommunication between Patterson and Bottoms there. Both of them having a good shot to keep the play alive after Grace Sullivan and Maggie Kinsley making athletic moves to keep the ball from going out of bounds.
With under a minute left here, Concordia down 10. With the ball, they're looking for some much-needed points on this possession. They certainly don't want to go into the fourth quarter down by as much as they are right now. Looks like they're going to hold for the final shot. Koskinski gives it to Nelson. Nelson for 3. Swish. 3-pointer for Nelson falls. And just like that, we're heading into the fourth quarter. Concordia cuts into the lead and Homestead's up 39-32. You'll want to stay tuned for this ending.
Rethink your limits.
And we're getting ready for the fourth quarter of play. This early morning SAC matchup. And we've got a fun one. Homestead up 39-32. It's been all defense. Concordia hasn't really been able to get much going so far in the second half, but they finished the third with a 3-pointer by Nelson. And just like that, Concordia is keeping this one close with a real chance to get on a run and make this a ball game.
This fourth quarter, the story is going to be Concordia's offense versus Homestead's defense. That is going to be the only way Concordia can win, because it seems like Concordia, they have gotten into a rhythm of stopping Homestead's offense. And the biggest thing is you're going to have to somehow stop Ayanna Patterson, who has just been a beast this game so far.
Ayanna Patterson with multiple blocks and 15 points. Certainly going to be a huge factor in how this fourth quarter plays out for both teams. And Stevens going to take a deep 3 at the top of the key, and it falls. Allison Stevens up to 15 points, and Homestead pushes their lead back to double digits. Koskinski has it for Concordia at the top of the key, and they're probably going to be looking to Anuka Nelson, who takes a inside shot there, no good. But the putback by Shantice Craig falls. And Concordia responds to Homestead's 3 with a shot of their own.
Coach Parker not very happy with the play by Ayanna Patterson, accidentally giving it right back to Shantice Craig.
Oh, and a sloppy turnover by the Spartans, a fast break attempt, and one by Concordia on the other end. That's London Betts down low. And she'll get a chance for 3 points.
Concordia now with a very important free throw to make this a 5-point game. So now Evie Bottoms comes in for Molly Stock.
And Concordia certainly doesn't have to start speeding things up. Still 7 minutes left and plenty of time to gather themselves and take the lead, but down 5, they do have to get rolling, and so far in this fourth quarter, that's exactly what they've been doing. Down low pass to Patterson is gonna go out of bounds, and Coach Miller not happy with the call. He thinks it was off of Patterson. It was close, but regardless, it'll stay with Homestead.
Both teams with 6 fouls. That is good news for Concordia. If Homestead's leading late in the game, Homestead is super close to the bonus, and that's good news for Concordia because they might have to foul out in the last minutes of the game.
And another jump ball. Concordia forces it. And that will change possession. Concordia, very aggressive defense in this one thus far, been forcing Homestead to only 42 points, a team that averages 53 a game. And it's a huge reason that they're still in this one, only down 5. Nelson has it, trying to open up some space on Kinsley.
Saw last week against Goshen, Homestead almost giving up a 10-point lead. Concordia trying to do the same except complete the job.
It's a much-needed win for Concordia as they're undefeated in SAC play. They're looking to stay on pace with Southside and Carroll at the top of the conference. Long possession here by Concordia, passing things around. Seems like they're looking for a three-pointer, as they haven't really been focusing inside with 0 players inside the paint right now. Shantice Craig did go inside the paint there as they tried to pass down low to her, but it will go out of bounds. Concordia still with it during this long possession.
It's important to remember Homestead is undefeated in regulation against SAC teams since joining the SAC.
Ooh, and a big mistake there by Concordia as London Betts was out of bounds as she took that handoff from Shantice Craig. And Homestead will have it now with the opportunity to really push their lead. And points on this possession would go a long way for the Spartans. They'll call a foul on Concordia. And with that, Homestead enters the bonus, a 1-and-1 coming up for Grace Sullivan.
Grace Sullivan, so far this season, not the best free throw shooter, 57%.
And first free throw does not fall. It was a 1-and-1, so that's all Sullivan will get at the free throw line, and another sloppy turnover by Concordia. Homestead will have it again. Concordia, they need to clean up on the offensive end if they want to remain in this ballgame.
Neither team's able to get much going, as that will be a foul on Annika Nelson.
Yeah, they'll call a blocking foul on Nelson. That's her second of the game. Luckily, she's not in any foul trouble, which is very important for the Cadets, as she is the leading scorer in this one for Concordia with 12 points. Stevens doesn't get it to fall. That's 2 1-and-1s where Homestead won't be taking a second shot, as Concordia, with 5 minutes left, the opportunity to narrow it down to a 1-possession lead.
Things are looking good for Concordia if perhaps they do have to start fouling.
They'll call a foul on Homestead. That'll be on Molly Stock. And
And now both teams are in the bonus as Onuka Nelson will be going to the line. Actually, we'll call that on Maggie Kinsley. Yeah, first free throw does not fall. Both teams struggling at the free throw line in this second half, and certainly not at the right time. As in a close game, you want to get every shot you can possibly get to fall. Coach Parker will call a timeout. He saw a tough situation that Homestead was in on the offensive end, and he wants to gather the troops with 4:30 left. Homestead Media is your source for the latest Homestead news, athletics, and more. Tune in every Friday to HHS In Depth for stories that affect our community and school. And check out future HHS live broadcasts for your #1 source for Homestead athletics. Just search Homestead Media on YouTube. Homestead up 42-37 with 4:30 left in the final quarter of this ball game. It's becoming crucial time for Concordia as they need to get something going on the offensive end.
Each team with plenty of timeouts left to play, each team 4 remaining.
And both teams are also in the bonus, so they want to play clean for these last few minutes. Certainly don't want to give their opponents any free shots. They're going to call a foul inside. That'll be on Chantisse Craig down low, a push on Patterson. So Patterson will be going to the line for the 1-and-1.
Here we go.
Both teams on their last combined 3 trips to the line haven't made a free throw yet. But Patterson ends that streak, and she'll get a chance at second free throw here.
Straight in.
Patterson 60% from the free throw line this season.
The second free throw falls, and Homestead's lead is up to 3 possessions. Certainly starting to create some much-needed separation. Concordia needs some points with just above 4 minutes left. Down low. That shot no good. It will stay with Concordia. Molly Stock will come in for Evie Bottoms as Homestead has the starting lineup out there. Oh, and Nelson was left open on the inbound, but the three-pointer no good. It's Homestead with the rebound and the ball with under 4 minutes left.
Don't hold her. Don't hold her. There you go.
Oh, and Stock loses possession off the dribble. Kashkinski forced the turnover, and Concordia a much-needed change in possession.
Another turnover for the Spartans. They have to stop late in the game. They have to get their act together. They cannot turn over the ball with just 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play.
It's becoming crucial time for Concordia to get things going. There's a turnover. Not what Concordia wanted on that possession. Kinsley on the other end for 3. Just short, rebounded by London Betts. And Concordia now has it. And Nelson fouled on the shot. She'll go to the line, and it'll be not a 1-and-1 as that's on the shot. She'll get both free throws here.
The fans not happy about that call, saying that it was all ball. It's good to have fans back at the stadium.
You like hearing the fans complain about calls?
It's just a better aspect to the game.
That first free throw doesn't fall. They really need those free throws. They have not been hitting them in the second half after shooting above 80% from the line in the first. Second free throw swishes for Anuka Nelson. She's up to 13 points, and Homestead's lead is down to 6 with under 3 minutes left. Patterson trying to work the paint, takes a shot, no good. Concordia with the rebound and the ball.
Homestead has not made a field goal, I don't think, since the first shot of this quarter.
Both teams have certainly played lockdown defense in this fourth quarter, really trying to maintain their hold on the game. Nelson for 3 off the back of the iron, but rebounded by Kashkinski, and Stevens blocks the shot attempt down low. And the defense for Homestead has stepped up exactly when Coach Barker needed it to.
That is 3 blocks on the game for Allison Stevens, not something to be slept on so far. It's not just Ayanna Patterson playing great defensive ball.
Down low, no good, and they'll call a foul on the shot. It'll be on Allison Stevens. Grace Hedke will be going to the line for 2 free throws.
Grace Hedke, no points since the first quarter so far.
First free throw lands. Corey's hit 2 in a row free throws. And they really need to continue that roll. They cannot afford to miss any of those with just above 2 minutes left in the final quarter of play. And that's 2 swishes for Hedke. And Concordia's going to call a timeout, down 4 with just above 2 minutes left. And Spartan fans, don't forget the Spartans will be in action in another doubleheader this Saturday. Both the girls and boys take on the North Central Panthers here at home. Tip-off is set for 1 p.m. for the girls, and boys tip-off after. Join Noah and myself on the call for the girls game, and broadcasters Matt Salfrank and Chris Corman for the boys game. Again, that's this Saturday on Homestead Live. Homestead, it's a close game here. There's a lot of implications in the SAC on the line. Homestead with 1 loss in conference play at 3-1. Concordia, meanwhile, undefeated, trying to stay in contention for first place.
Homestead needs to get their shooting going. They have a 3 and 2 free throws in this quarter so far. They have not made anything from within the arc.
Homestead will have it out of the timeout, and every possession matters now with about 2 minutes left. A sloppy turnover. Kensley needs to gather it, and she does just before it goes out of bounds. Homestead cannot afford any turnovers with a very narrow lead here.
Looks like Homestead's trying to burn some clock.
Stock drives inside and gets the shot to fall. Crucial points for the Spartans. Molly Stock is up to 8 on the game, and Homestead up 6. About 90 seconds left in this one. Nelson takes a shot, and no good. A fast break coming up. Stock on the other end again. Molly Stock stepping up in the final minutes of this one, and Homestead extending their lead further. Hedke trying to get a quick 3 on the other end, and it'll airball out of bounds. And Concordia looks like they're starting to play a little more aggressive.
When Molly Stock gets going, she gets going. She is really fast. She's able to get into the paint so easily. And right there, 4 points just back to back with each other.
Seems like Concordia is in panic mode right now. They're forcing a lot of shots as they're coming off 2 back-to-back shots that did not even hit the rim. And Homestead's going to start passing things around. Concordia needs to foul. Of course, no shot clock in IHSAA play. And there's the foul finally coming from the Cadets. Allison Stevens will be going to the line. She'll be shooting 2 as Homestead is in the double bonus now. First free throw falls. Homestead keeping their players on the defensive side.
Coach Miller has now put Annika Nelson back in after putting her on the bench for a long time.
Coach Miller needs her to step up right now. A double-digit lead for the Spartans. Concordia needs a shot quickly. And London Betts will take it off the front of the iron, no good. Spartans with the rebound. And with under 30 seconds left, I don't want to speak too soon, but as Concordia is starting to play the foul game, it appears Homestead is going to walk away with the win here.
And Sydney Freem coming in from the bench for the Spartans for just the second time this game. Ayanna Patterson coming out, getting a round of applause after a 17-point performance.
Molly Stock going to get both free throws. Here she hits the first. And up 11 points with under half a minute left. Unless somebody's going to step up like Tracy McGrady against the Spurs, I don't think Concordia will be coming back in this one. Edkey with it. She needs to take a quick shot. Does down low and draws a foul, so she'll be going to the line for 2. As Concordia is in the double bonus.
Allison Stevens' 4th foul of the game. We'll see if Coach Parker takes Allison Stevens out just so that she doesn't foul out in the last 19 seconds.
Here comes the first free throw. Swishes in. Concordia finally starting to hit their free throws. Not really the right time for it. They desperately needed those free throws earlier in the game. Although they were hitting them early, just in the third quarter and for most of the fourth. They were coming up empty on almost every trip to the line. Quick 30-second timeout by Coach Miller with under 20 seconds left. Just trying to muster up whatever Concordia has, down 9.
I predict Homestead's most likely going to do the basketball equivalent of taking a knee and just dribbling out this game. The incredible performance by both Allison Stevens and Ayanna Patterson, and even Molly Stock showed up this game. Just incredible performance by all of them. Just finding something, mustering something together. Ayanna Patterson and Allison Stevens with the blocks on defense. Ayanna Patterson with the rebounds on offense. And Molly Stock just with her insanely fast speed, just finding open shots and open lanes.
Molly Stock, Allison Stevens, and Ayanna Patterson both passed double digits in this game. Homestead this season yet to lose when those three reach double-digit points. And the inbound goes just as planned for the Spartans, as Molly Stock will be going to the line for 2 free throws.
Molly Stock, the best free throw shooter on the Spartans this season. 75%, highest of all the starters.
Concordia not yet out of hope, is down 9, but they're still fouling, still playing the foul game, trying to keep themselves in this one. Stock hits the first free throw, and the lead for the Spartans is back up to double digits. Misses the second free throw, and Concordia's going to need to move quickly here. As Nelson passes to Headkey. Headkey down low, does not fall, and Kinsley with the rebound. That will probably do it. And Homestead to get Concordia their first loss in conference play. Homestead wins this one 52-42. We will be right back. Stay tuned for the post-game show after this.
Rethink your limits.
Here at Homestead High School Media, we're taking steps to stay safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. That includes limiting the number of workers in the TV studio and wearing masks when not on camera. We also socially distance our anchors each week at the news desk. In the studios, we limit the number of people allowed in at a time, and even our mics wear masks. Thank you for doing your part in helping fight COVID-19.
Welcome to the post-game show after this morning's SAC matchup. Homestead walking away with the double-digit 52-42 victory over the Cadets, who will lose their first SAC game and drop out of contention for first place. The Southside and Carroll now the only remaining undefeated teams in the conference.
Homestead showing up in this game today. This is a great win for Homestead, especially going into face number 2 North Central. That will be a major game here at home. Homestead, just a good momentum booster, and they also have Southside coming up as well. The team that has had the target on Homestead's back all season, just wanting to beat them after that overtime loss in sectionals last year.
Certainly a great way to end 2020 with a double-digit win over a conference opponent and get themselves closer to reaching the top of the SAC. Still with one loss, but now after Concordia loses, only 2 teams left, Carroll and Southside, with a 0 next to their name in losses. And a great game from Molly Stock, Allison Stevens, and Ayana Patterson, who both had double-digit points. Stevens and Patterson played great defensively as well. Patterson had multiple blocks along with Stevens, and just a great game and great finish for the Spartans. And with that, we're going to wrap things up here. Don't forget, the Lady Spartans will be in action this Saturday against the number 2 team in Class 4A, North Central. Tip-off for that game is set for 1 p.m. with Pregame taking the air about 10 minutes prior. At this time, we'd like to thank our sponsors for making our broadcast possible. For video, a big thank you to Optimum Performance Orthopedics. And our radio sponsors this year include Casa Ristorante, Moe's Southwest Grill, Marco's Pizza, and Manchester University. We would like to thank one of our sponsors who has helped make this broadcast possible as well. First Federal Savings Bank is a community bank with locations in Fort Wayne, Huntington, and Warsaw. Contact them by phone at 260-436-2100 and online at www.firstfedindiana.bank. For Anthony Gery and the entire Homestead Live crew today, I'm Brayden Carroll. Have a great New Year's, and we'll see you on Saturday.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.